I dream of it, amongst the wild threads of history and the myriad of paths. My path saw the Imperium rise from the ashes left in the wake of the Great Revolt. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of the human mind. With that commandment, new avenues of human potential were explored. Mentats, Suk Doctors, Sword Masters, and the mystical Bene Gesserit Sisterhood. But it was the Navigators and their monopoly on space travel that set the conditions for the Imperium. But I am telling you of the universe you already know. Let me describe the one you do not. In this other universe, my mother, Lady Jessica, consort to Duke Leto Atreides, gave birth to a daughter, a girl they named Ariste. Because of her obedience to the Bene Gesserit, Lady Jessica is trained as a truth-sayer. Because of that training, Lady Jessica was able to detect Dr. Yue's deception. Because of the forewarning of his betrayal, House Atreides survived the Battle of Arrakeen. Because of their survival, the Emperor declared a full-scale war of assassins. Because of the war, the Sardaukar were deployed to ensure spice shipments continued without interruption. Because of the Sardaukar, the Fremen were eradicated. There was no Muad'Dib, no Lisan al-Gaib, no Kwisatz Haderach. I see a universe where I, Paul Atreides, was never born. All my visions lead to horror, except this one. This one leads to you.
Found what you were looking for? Or just a new regret to pair with your drink? I believe you are mistaken. Master Lathe is under the influence of something quite spiritual. Vantadraft. Known side effects include coma, confession, and occasionally death. But let's be generous and assume the middle one. You're right, no games. Just a corpse in the Espada room, and a list of insults I had hoped to use before Vantadraft finished what regret started. Murdered? No. Master Lathe was far too committed to slow, deliberate self-annihilation, not flashy enough for murder. Self-loathing's not a flaw in this town. It's a currency, and Master Lathe had it to spare. He spent it on bad liquor, bad romance, and bad books, in that general order. Vanta Draft, poured black as regret. The real stuff, illegal with a trace of poison, mined in barrels, not bottled. Master Lathe said it was the only drink honest enough to finish what he started. Not officially, just a spice stabilizer that got banned in 3 systems. Makes the color pretty. Also kills your liver. Depending on who you ask, that's a feature. Optimistic. That's generous. The bottle said, may impair judgment. Master Lathe read that as permission. Master Lathe collected bad decisions like drink tickets. And love was just another excuse to disappear for a night. Or 3. Weird stuff, off-the-record titles. Things that don't circulate legally. Class struggle, worker dignity. That sort of quaint filth. The kind of books that'll get you locked up on over half the systems in the Imperium. Sorry. The desk to sign out library books is on the lower floor. Things you don't read for fun. Anti-imperial treatises. Sandfly manifestos. I don't know. I suppose he wanted to unbolt the class system with his wrench and conviction. Should have known tools like us don't get to fix things. We just hold the weight until it crushes us. You will have to ask his assistant, Hester Klimt. She catalogues tragedy like a tax collector. Go spoil her mood.
Ah, you are back. How can I help? He did say something about hating the Harkonnens, but that does not make him special around here. Trouble and the Harkonnens go hand in hand here. You could throw a stick in any direction and hit someone with a grudge against the Baron. But a murder here, right under Hawat's nose, that is not just bold. She is near impossible. You would need more than hate or ambition. It would take something special to earn that. Names and colors, they come and go like desert winds. If Master Lathe was seen with a red head, perhaps she was just another storm passing through. Red hair is common enough. If she had a business with Master Lathe, I was not privy to it. Some things are best left unspoken, eh? But who would want to kill Master Lathe? He was already doing a good job of that himself. Between his taste for that toxic Harkonnen brew he loved so much, and the company he kept. House deserters and ex-Dune men mostly. Not the kind that file taxes or hold court on Kaiten. Keep it down, stranger. But yes, if you are asking if Master Let drifted that far, he did. Master Let was a creature of habit, wretched ones. Benders that lasted days, women and drink until he couldn't see straight. Oh, public! Shouting poetry in the gutter. One sock, no shoes. The sheriff, he dragged him in more than once. No charges, of course. Not for his kind. He would vanish, poof. Sometimes for days or weeks at a time. Always come back clear-eyed, skin back like a desert stone. That is when he would hole up in the private room, pour himself a Vanta, crack open one of those revolutionary tomes, and the cycle would begin anew.
Report. Then our lead is cold, along with the corpse. Still, death has a way of leaving fingerprints. Did he leave any behind? Self-inflicted incompetence happens more than you'd think. Froth suggests seizure, or poison, or both. His usual habits might have masked something more deliberate. I see. Then I suggest you speak with our resident Sook, Dr. Shafat. Perhaps she can clarify what your untrained eyes cannot. Dr. Shafat keeps a back alley surgery near the entrance. Curious how the Sooks so often favor squalor over station.
Hello again. Are we here for medical advice or a murder investigation? You have my thanks. It would be good to get on with the business of healing, rather than spinning in circles in a logistics and bureaucratic purgatory.
Report. You rattled her then? Good. Did anything shake loose? Did she say where? If he was running, that's the direction we look. Very good. You're starting to think like a Cheops player. But every cleared square reveals a trap or a truth. Go see which one Lath left behind. The pyramid game. 9 levels. Like chess, built for mentats. It doesn't matter if you have... The point is, you don't win Cheops by chasing pawns. Every piece changes value as you climb the board. Just like an investigation, you can't trust what's in front of you until you understand what's above it and what's beneath.
I suspect you have some
Can I be of service?
Hello and greetings. On behalf of the Attar household, I am afraid we are not acquainted. Perhaps Sir would do me the courtesy of an introduction. Sir's timing is impeccable. House Attar has interests in infrastructure and takes pride in restoring the damages done during the Battle of Arrakeen. To celebrate this next phase in the project, House Attar is throwing a banquet of no small magnificence. However, we have run into complications. We are woefully short-staffed. Perhaps Sir can help in assessing some food crates, look into a tardy dress, and find some missing Caledonian brandy. If the state of affairs is not improved, the banquet will be a disaster. Such perceived incompetence would endanger our house's hard-won status. The first requirement of any successful banquet is fine food. We cannot accept anything less than impeccable quality. Secondly, it must be safe. Nobles each take their own precautions in turn, but it is the host's solemn duty to check for excellence and for poison. We cannot abide our guests being assassinated, or worse, underwhelmed. We require you to make such an examination. 3 crates in particular need to be thoroughly examined and background checked. Nothing must be amiss, not a speck of dust unaccounted for. How may I be of service? Indeed, sir, since childhood's hour, from a servant boy to major domo, I take great pleasure in my service. House Attar is a minor house, but a proud one, and, dare I say, on the rise.
Hello. May I help? What is it you wish to know? Hello. May I... Oh, thank the gods. We need all the hands that we can get. Your first task is a Trooper Wren. She is a young one, too eager to prove herself, hitting the bottle harder than she should, eh? Clegg is already about to summon the Provost Guard, and you know how they handle things. Get her out before she gets hauled off and ruined. Welcome to the Chaos, stranger.
Hey, you again.
You got something to say about Aristide too? Everyone's got an opinion tonight. The problem? You are. I can smell the taint of Giddy Prime on your breath. You mocking me too? Some local fathead called Aristide a nice young lady. As if that was an appropriate way to address the now Duchess of House Atreides. You shut your mouth before your neck has my boot for a companion. I'll make sure the medics catalogue every fracture. Hark, filth don't do peace. They do blood. Fine. You want me out? I'll go. But I won't forget your face. You better watch your six, Bouncer. I don't forgive, I don't forget, and I don't sleep.
Hello. May I help? Well done. Now, Sergeant Clegg, he tell me one of our regulars, a proper sad local, is in full collapse out there. Clegg is about to sedate him with a chair. Maybe get in there first.
How may I be of service? And your findings? Sir will forgive me for examining the crates myself. To better assess your quality, you value speed and confidence to the exclusion of accuracy. My masters deserve more perfect tools, but we needs must work with what is on hand. Circumstances have lowered the bar of adequacy. Congratulations. Correct. The heiress of the house, Ariadne Attar, requires an extraordinary garment. More than a dress, this is a matter of courtly etiquette. Speak to Ariadne. She can explain the particulars better than this humble servant.
Ever see someone melt? No, not metaphorically. Not tears. I mean, skin slide and bones turning soft. No? No. Let's have a drink. I keep thinking if I say it enough, maybe it'll stop feeling like I imagined it. But no one forgets what pink smells like. One moment we're exchanging rings, next moment bride's mother's dripping off the chairs like hot stew. Wait. What if I could tell you a story so tragic, so painful to bear, even your stone-cold heart is moved? Friend, you ain't heard nothing yet. I never said she was morbidly obese. No. Well, she wasn't then. That's not the point. Wait, please. I'm almost at the end of the story. Please, I'm just trying to survive here. Don't want anyone's blood in my hands, especially mine. I'll go. I swear.
Hello. May I help? Very good. Now, Master Jim upstairs informs me Colonel Rain is back at it, conducting field operations from the bottom of a bottle. Oh, please, handle him. Fordering sin, he's walking a table through the defense of Helios Gate. The poor couple only ordered spritzers. Aye.
Back so soon? Can't get enough of my charming company, eh? You want me to leave? Try making me, Hark. Wouldn't be the first time I dropped one of your kind on their back. Spoken like a diplomat with a knife under the napkin. I see the Harkonnens still teach poise alongside brutality. No, that's not who I am. Not now, not ever. I drink to remember, not to forget. I bleed for something. You people bleed because you enjoy it. And I've had enough of this drink, of this conversation, of you.
I don't know you. Are you selling something? This is a terrible time, just terrible. Come back another time, please. In that case, please stay. This is more than a matter of pretty fabrics. We are on the verge of disaster. Courtly maneuvers are more than mere frivolity. You see, it's not just a dress, but part of a grand tapestry of deadly pageantry. My family depends on everything being perfect. I must do my part. My family worked hard to raise the status of our house. Showing up in, say, the same dress as Aristae Atreides would do real damage to that effort. Well spoke. The fact that you're a peer puts me at ease. You understand what is at stake. Do say that you will fix this intolerable situation. Oh, you are a treasure. Please see my tailor. His tardiness is beyond bearing. I have no doubt you can browbeat a dress out of him.
Hello. May I help? And the peace is restored. You did good work, stranger. Here is your pay. And stranger, Jim rarely hands out compliments, but he gave you a nod tonight. That means something. Keep your eyes open. There's always more work. And I would be glad to have you on board again.
I'm afraid we have more business than we know what to do with at the moment. But how may I be of service? Apologies to the heiress. My lateness is a wound to my professional heart, but I shan't paw you with excuses. That said, there is a war. Supplies and deliveries are often complicated or rendered utterly impossible, particularly with the more exotic materials. How do you mean? Do you have this knowledge? Thank you. I shall have the dress made and delivered as soon as possible, if not sooner.
How may I be of service? Congratulations! I will be sure to revise my assessment of you. Expertly remembered, sir. The centerpiece of the banquet is a case of Caledonian brandy, imported at great cost to be gifted to Duke Leto himself. My master is confident this gesture will reap great rewards. More's the pity, as this precious gift has been held up in customs longer than is normal. We would be indebted to sir if you would find out the fate of the brandy and bring the crate to us forthwith. Very good.
Hello again. If O'Gary can't make it happen, like as not, it's not meant to happen. Let's see what we can figure out. What? What a specific and pointed question. What would make a body ask something like that? Beg pardon? What? Oh, no. I'm afraid there's been a terrible misunderstanding. I want no part in angering a noble house. I didn't know. A mysterious patron paid me a tidy sum to steal a case of expensive brandy from customs and replace it with fake Caledonian brandy. My instincts told me something was off, so I kept both cases, real and fake, hoping it would all blow over. I didn't know. I'm in over my head. Here, take it. This crate has been like a curse I can't get rid of. Deal. I don't want any trouble with a noble house.
How may I be of service? Begging Sir's pardon, but I do not follow. Yes, disturbing news. I'm inclined to suspect a rival of my master's. All the more reason to make this banquet perfect. This may very well save the banquet. I implore, sir, to forgive my harsher assessment of you at the start. I misjudged you.
Welcome. Would you like to deposit, or how much Solaris would you like to deposit?
After the pamphlet, I started asking questions like, who does this serve? And the answer kept coming back, it serves them, the nobility. And nobody burned brighter on that pyre than Phaedra Vi. Old money, old grudges. She wore ruin like perfume. We drank, talked, pretended we weren't just ghosts. One night, I told her my worst secret. The one I can't say here. She didn't flinch. I asked her what that made me. A man, she said. A man with blood on his hands like the rest of us. You just don't wear gloves. Then one morning she showed up with real gloves, silk, elbow length. I knew she was hiding something. I gave her my worst sin like it was a love letter. She smiled, kissed me, then she asked for a confession. Not for her, for the Harkonnens. Said she needed money to buy back her family's heirloom. I laughed and asked if she was serious. Deadly, she said, and took another sip of her drink like it was just another Thursday.
You again?
You've been to the workshop. Did our engineer leave anything behind besides regrets? Well, you're still alive, so I assume the greeting committee took it poorly. What did you find? What kind of annotations? Margin notes. Maybe a move, maybe a distraction. In Keops, not everything on the board is meant to be played. Phaedra Vi. Now there's a name from the past. Didn't realize she was still drawing breath. Complicated. Phaedra Vi is a man-eater. She doesn't flirt, she hunts. And when she sets her sights, the ending is never in doubt. I knew men, smart ones who thought they were the exception, that they could handle her. They're not around to argue the point. Of course she was. Phaedra always knew how to pull a thread, until the whole man came undone. You want answers? Go see Phaedra Vi. You'll find her apartment in the Upper Central Plaza. Watch your step.
They think it's a tribute. A grand revival. I'm hosting it after all. Who better? The same fools who couldn't spell Genusian if I bled it onto parchment. Dressing up the corpse of old Carthage in borrowed silks like that makes it breathe again. But that night, it wasn't a party. It was the last time the world bent around me. I ruled it for a single night, and nothing that came after ever mattered. Now they wear the masks. They mouth the toasts. They pretend they remember. It's not nostalgia. It's taxidermy. Still, if the ghosts are coming, I'll be waiting at the door.
Did you see Phaedra? I assume you found a trail to where she's hiding. Yes, the missing piece of the puzzle. I'll be sure to include it in her obituary. Could be something, could be nothing. It could be a waste of time. Either way, see her. Interesting. Then I hope your Thopter's gassed and waiting, because you're headed into the deep desert.
Hello again.
All right, then. Ask your questions.
Right.
Oh, hey there, friend. Looking for anything special? That's not normally a good eye trade-in. I'm more hands-on. And I've got lots of customers, each with their own sordid affairs. None of my business.
Some questions are dangerous to even voice. You best be leaving.
Engaging shield. Enemy.
Poor Austin. He thought I wanted justice. He thought I cared. What I wanted was my grandmother's necklace. The Star of Wisova. 6 generations of Vais wore it. Smuggled from Ikaz in a corset lined with blood. Gone when Carthag went up in flame. Austin saw the tears. He thought they meant something, so he gave me his truth like it was a gift. I didn't betray him. Not in the end. I kept his secret and lost the necklace anyway. Even if I'd held it again, it wouldn't bring back the ballroom, or the music, or the dancers. You can't ransom ghosts. And gods be damned, the dead never write thank you notes.
Report on the deep desert. Murder's noise. Cargo is signal. What kind of high value? Let me see it. Huh. Yes, I recognize some of these names. Tell me what you see. Interesting. What makes you say that? I see. You met with her? Somehow I missed that in your cheerful updates. A necklace, is it? It sounds like a sentiment wrapped around leverage. Of course. A Shigawa confession. Last refuge of the melodramatic. Easier to confess to a machine than face a reckoning, I suppose. Anything else? Possibly, but everyone's always angling for something. It doesn't mean it's worth chasing. Anything else? If it were obvious, you wouldn't be asking. The answer's buried. Figuratively and literally. Coincidentally, I have a seat at a banquet with Phaedra Vi, and several others listed on that manifest. I'll gather what I can there. You go back to Phaedra's apartment. That note might be our next key. Read it. What did it say? Ah, subtle as ever. She's leaving you a memory dressed as a riddle. What do you need help with? There aren't many once great cities around here, are there? I assume you can guess what city she's talking about. Indeed. Arakene's survival is a testament to the Duke's stubbornness and luck. The answer is Carthage, and I suspect our dead engineer has provided the clue that confirms this detail. 10194, the year the old city died. I don't know exactly what she meant you to find, but this feels like something carved, not scribbled. She's not subtle. Find the picture. She's telling you where the lock is, or the key. Congratulations. You've graduated from aimless rummaging to actual investigation. Now follow the thread. Those portraits are saying something.
of their dead to make water.
Mother.
Open your eyes, my son!
I wasn't going to tell you, but thanks to your Fremen hero, we're test firing a long-throw cutter-ray auger today with an ungraded barrel.
Is that dangerous?
Only if the phase differential is off by more than 0.0003.
Stefan, you can't. I forbid it. Why are they making you do this?
Because, Mother, Zantara destroyed the last facility that made and tested precision las barrels.
No. No.
I've got to go.
Be careful, Stefan. I feel something very bad is coming. Its shadow is already upon us.
I've been trying to say this for weeks. Carthag, you want the truth? I was hired to fix a problem, quietly. A man, high voice, long shadow, wanted something buried. No noise, no survivors. I helped him, mapped fault lines, tuned resonance, knew exactly what would happen. They paid me, gave me a new collar, a title I never earned. Carthag fell. You've seen the ash. But I laid the tracks. When the train came, I looked away. The nightmares aren't fire or screams, they're silence. That moment before, I could have said no. Now it's inside me. The rot. I drink, I work, I don't sleep. Take this, sell it, burn it. Just remember, someone knew, even if I don't tomorrow. The Dune men say first silence, then dust, then wings in the dark. I used to think it was poetry. Now, it feels like a countdown.
Oh, hey there, friend. Looking for anything special? That's not normally a good I trade in. I'm more hands-on. Already told you I don't deal in information. That's a commodity that gets a body killed. I certainly don't hand out customer info.
That's unfortunate. I shouldn't say. It's not good business. It's not safe. All right. The lady was obsessed with her ancestral jewels, which I gather she lost with old Carthag. She particularly yearned for a necklace, the Star of Wisova. Turns out an enterprising scavenger had it. So Phaedra hatched some kind of scheme to get up the money to reacquire the necklace. I knew she was scheming up something to put together the scratch she'd need to get that necklace she obsessed over. No. Damn, I've got an answer, but you aren't going to like it. Phaedra was part of a little cabal who collectively had a stash of treasure they took out of old Carthag before it blew. Last to live takes the pot. Phaedra was making desperate trades to get the funds to retrieve her ancestral necklace. Well, anything could happen in that nest of covetous snakes. As for that person listed on the manifest, the Overseer, that is Sub-Prefect Tours. He's overseeing that group. Not the sort of thing you spill over afternoon tea, is it? I suppose you'll be catching up with him then and leaving in a hurry, huh?
That's not your door to open, stranger. Push it, and you'll find I'm harder to move than most. And by order of the Emperor, I'm telling you to slow your gallop. There's nothing for you inside. I am the Sheriff of Arakeen, and the only uniform I wear is this sword and belt. Of course, you're welcome to test whether I'm dressed for the job or not. I found my reputation and steel tend to speak louder than epaulets. Fast or slow, I don't think you're gonna get much chatter out of them inside. They're all dead. We've got one survivor, technically. Old bird's flapping her wings on the way down. But she'll land soon enough. Tours? Now there's a theory. Got anything to go with that? Or are we just throwing darts in the dark? Normally I'd say this is above your pay grade, but frankly I could use a second set of eyes. And if you already know some of these silk-wrapped corpses, all the better. Good. That saves us a few hours of corpse roulette. A few of these poor fools I already recognize by build or reputation. The rest you and your list can help with. It's my job to know who's whispering in the shadows. This crew kept to themselves. Rich, quiet, and just strange enough to raise my interest. I've had files on half of them since they landed. I mean, they didn't dine with the Atreides, didn't show up in the salons, and never hosted anyone outside their circle. Came down on private carriers, quiet ones. No welcome party, no flag waving. When nobles start behaving like spies, I start watching like one. These little gatherings weren't new. Masquerades are not. Same crowd, same vices. Wine, secrets, and shouting matches dressed up as witty banter. Masks just gave them an excuse to say the quiet parts out loud. They never shouted about spice or power. It was always the desert. Who knew what? Who had the map? Who owed something? Sounded more like a treasure hunt than a banquet. All I know is they were tight-lipped going out, and even tighter coming back. Anyhow, enough jawing. Let me get a look at that guest list. I'll match it with my data and cut through some guesswork. Appreciate it. Now I'll play scribe. You go play confessor. The old bird is waiting. Call her Countess if you like. I call her the last shriveled thorn on a dead branch. Sharp tongue, sharper memory. Don't be fooled by the frailty. She can still draw blood with a whisper. The butler saw things. Doesn't rattle easy. You do well to speak with him before the details slip through the cracks. See what the butler and the old hawk have to say. After that, come find me. I'll be the one holding this city together.
Do forgive the mess. They died as they lived, loudly and with abysmal table manners. Butler to the late lordlings of this doomed affair. My talents include wine pairing, corpse counting, and feigning deference. It began as a toast, ended as a cautionary tale. You may pick whichever part offends you the least. It's simple. Wine was poured, conversation flowed. Then, so did the convulsions. You will forgive my impertinence for pointing out there is a noble here who still draws breath, and her breaths are more important than my breaths. It would behoove you to speak with her while you can. I shall remain here, utterly loyal and inconsequential.
Splendid. An audience. I was beginning to worry I'd die without one.
Countess? Did you just address me as Countess? Did he now? How sweet. That sun-scalded half-breed always did mean well, even if he has the conversational grace of a bricked-up cellar. Do I look like some lace-draped provincial with a grain tithe and a hobby kennel? I'm a Marchioness, you ignorant little envelope.
Alert the criers. We have discovered a pleb who can take instruction. I was Eulalia Hawthorne, Marchioness, Patroness, and now I'm just the ghost of better parties and worse decisions. No, but whoever it was deserves a medal for culling the herd of those pretentious fools. Tours? No, thank the stars. Another bureaucrat sniffing around. Precisely the kind of dull company I avoid. No one worth the effort. Just a pack of maulers fighting over my ruin. They'll whisper sweet poison behind my back, like always. At least death saves me from their petty scheming.
Hands off, you clod! You'll tear my face away.
No. I'm still wearing it because it goes with my dress. Of course it's stuck. There are tiny barbed claws secreted within the mask. I saw Una Byrne try to remove it, and half her face came away before she fainted. Idiot. The wine merely opened the door, but it was the masks that let death inside. Poison in the wine, poison in the mask. One to loosen the soul, one to pierce it. A double dose for double crossers. Leave the mask alone. Because betrayal is their native tongue, dear. I watched them turn coats faster than courtiers shed morals. First for survival, then for sport. Let's just say, when money and memory are tied to the same grave, the living tend to grow fangs. By all means, prolong my suffering with your endless prattle. What happened? Fashion suicide, mainly. Graf Vero died smiling, the fool. Spilled his wine and his wit in equal measure. I do admire a man who keeps his mask on while choking. With one of those ghastly little speeches nobles make when they think they're clever. Then came the toast. Then came the horror. This I remember with perfect clarity. She said it with that awful snark of hers, like she's been waiting years to raise the glass. She said, "To ghosts and ash, to the flames we escaped when we should have burned. Every breath since has been stolen, and tonight the debt is due." Hard to forget a toast that theatrical, and not just because it was the last thing I ever drank. I wasn't really listening. Phaedra has a habit of mistaking volume for substance. And I've spent decades letting that woman drone on about guilt and ghosts. I didn't think this time would be different. Our dear hostess Phaedra.
And I do mean dear, given what it cost her. Dead, did you say? But the Toastmaster strutted around with her voice and mask like she owned the place. Typical Phaedra. Can't even die without making herself the center of attention. Bitch. Graf Ansel Vero. A bloated tick in a borrowed title. He died as he lived. Loud, ridiculous, and surrounded by people pretending to like him. Blue. A coward's color. Fitting, really. He always did flee when anything required a spine. Or pants. A thing? Darling, the Graf was barely a man, let alone a thing. He once tried to kiss my hand, and missed. I took it as a sign. Turns out my precious toxin modulator works. Slows the venom, preserves the drama. I'll die last, bloated with envy and resentment. Just how they'd want me. Oh, do not ruin this for me. I want to die with some shred of mystery, not flanked by bumbling concern. One last kindness, dear. My Morla. Kill them all. They'll spend my death pawing through jewelry and gossiping in the kitchen if you don't. It's a tradition, you know. The servants die with the mistress. Mostly forgotten now. Like manners and decency. But I rather like it. Please, kill the little wretches. Choke the life out of them before they sell my underthings for drink. By the time your little report makes its rounds, the rats will have nested in my wardrobe and auctioned my jewels to smugglers. Perhaps they'll read it at my memorial, just after the appetizers.
Oh joy, you've returned. Ah, just when the silence was beginning to heal. While I don't know the specific name attached to that handkerchief, I do recall there was more than one name fitting those initials on the guest list. In any case, someone waved the handkerchief in question dramatically about while arguing over whose knowledge of wine vintages was supreme. Nothing else comes to mind, save that the handkerchief in question carried a distinct perfume, sweet if cloying. Ah, just when the silence was beginning to heal. If it reeks of desperation and mild opium, it likely belonged to the lady in the olive mask. She fancied herself mysterious. Mostly, she was just loud. She was mid-squabble with the one in red. Something about inheritance or infidelity or seating arrangements. Hard to tell with that set. She dropped it in the fray and made no effort to return it. Ah, just when the silence was beginning to heal. Where do they come from? Same place as the lies they're meant to hide. Born in the rotting vanity of those too cowardly to show their true selves. Masks are just another way to pretend nobility isn't a disease. No, I don't. Forgive me. My training prioritized service over tracing the costume habits of people born allergic to labor. Nothing in this vast universe would please me more than to answer your questions. While I was in the room diligently pouring wine just prior, I'm afraid I was away during the actual toast. I was checking on the status of the soon-to-be-served meal. You do understand my station, don't you? I was present for work, not leisure. Nothing in this vast universe would please me more than to answer your questions. Pains me to point out the obvious to one of such cunning, but I was too busy performing my duties to note the ingress and egress of each guest. I was instructed to set the table and pour the wine for that amount of guests, and I did so. I did not, however, perform any sort of head count. Nothing in this vast... I'm afraid I do not know of whom you speak. I certainly was not instructed to care about whom that name belongs to.
Let's have it. Spit it out. I make it my business to know which flavor of aristocrat is stinking up my city. Most of them never set foot outside their compounds, but I keep a ledger. Names, habits, whispered threats. Helps to know who drinks what when they start dropping dead. Let's have it. Spit it out. It's more his beef with me, or my kind more specifically. Tours his old blood. Thinks blue veins and powdered wigs entitle him to obedience. I'm town Fremen, born and scarred. He sees that as an affront, calls me that Fremen thug. I call him what he is. A dried-out bigot in brocade. We make it work. Spit it out. Only by reputation. Which is to say, scandal, disgrace, and the talent for ruining dinner parties from halfway across the galaxy. Heard she once tried to sue an entire planet for being vulgar. That about paints the picture. Spit it out. Know him? Sure. Drunk with a martyr complex, and a reading list that screams arrest me. He's mostly harmless. I dragged him out of gutters more times than I care to count, and left him there once or twice too. No blood or teeth marks. Good. Consider yourself formally initiated into the losing end of noble etiquette. She talked to you, didn't she? That's more than most get. See, that's where you got it twisted. That woman's got venom for blood, and a title where her heart should be. She talked because you annoyed her. Snapped her right out of that death spiral by reminding her just how much she hates lizard-browed provincials like us. Call it a success. You woke up the part of her brain still capable of sneering. The question is, did you learn anything? Well, that's a wrinkle. Did the old bird say what color mask he was wearing? Back where I'm from, yellow marks a coward. But nobility tends to mistake fear for wisdom and wear it like gold. So find the wine stain next to a blue mask and you found our graph. We can work backwards from there. Of course he did. Might want to run that scanner of yours. Find out where the wine hit the floor. Then we'll have our starting point. Bold choice bringing a discount snooper to a high-born massacre. Still, point it at the mess. Might surprise us both. Sort out where the graph ended up. Then we'll talk. Let's have it. Let's hear it. That doesn't track. Better look again. Let's have it. Let's hear it. First prize to the junior investigator. That fits the evidence. A can of pressed slig. It's good on toast. 5 cans of pressed slig. The man chose his agent well. Always does, though. Got an eye for talent, that one. Well, meanwhile, I came up with 2 names of my own. 8 masked assholes dead on the floor. Drank their guilt, now they'll sin no more. Haven't had the pleasure yet today. Speak to Theophilus about Agade Yamari. That's what the note says. I suggest you find out what our buttoned-up friend knows before he forgets. Our resident astronomia-trained butler, Theophilus. You know, I heard a funny story about that school. Makes the best of the best servants, they say. But I heard in their final year, the students are paired off in twos and taught to observe each other obsessively. One of them graduates, the other disappears. It's never explained which is which.
Oh joy, you've returned. She was prone to a serious allergic reaction to a species of plant in our flower arrangement. She wished to sit as far away from it as possible. A common reaction to that particular flower. The wealthy chose aesthetic over practicality or safety. It's a wonder we can keep any of them alive. Alas, nothing pains me more than being unable to do your job for you. But I do not recall. I merely changed her seating arrangement prior to the gathering. I regret to say that the seating arrangement was the casualty of a wine-spilling incident by someone already deep in their cups.
Let's have it. Then let's have it. No, that's not right. Think again. Let's have it. Then let's have it. No, that's not... Let's have it. Then let's have it. No, we just established that...
Let's have it. Then let's have it. I'd say it's more of a Zaffre violet, but that seems to align with my conclusions. Good work. I figured out one more. That snooper thing of yours chirped like it knows something? Well done, friend. While you were nosing around, I confirmed that the caskets themselves were not poisoned. Meaning... That's exactly correct. Someone doctored the vino after it was delivered. Always nice when the killer's polite enough to attend their own massacre. Turns out the wine was arranged by a man named Ambrose Lucifera. Fancy name for a glorified errand boy. I had him dragged in. Now's the time to go poke holes in his story.
Please do me the courtesy of telling me why I am being detained. What's the charge? Supplying wine to a banquet? A decadent Arakeen banquet? Oh, Balderdash, this is becoming intolerable. You've turned a juicy murder plot into something tedious. How could I possibly be involved with... Whom did you say was murdered? Well, now, see here. I merely arranged for the wine to be delivered. Everyone knows I have a knack for finding the best. These sealed bottles were poisoned. Oh, well, there you have it. I took no involvement in their glassware, merely in arranging for the reception of a very fine vintage. I trust this absolves me. A rare vintage from the planet of Grenbel, home of the exquisite Maros deer. A libation so fine, even the most domineering Chussock snob would weep. Why, yes, any of the staff of the Seleucid Bull, as well as a few of the regulars, can attest to my presence. My debauching is quite conspicuous. Oh, goody, goody. With that unpleasantness out of the way, is there anything I can do to aid you in your remedial sleuthery? He's what some call a town fremen. Impeccable service, a full purple-gloved member of the Imperial Footmen's Guild. Still, he harbors a certain intensity behind his eyes when watching the nobles. Those of my status often ignore the help in their complexities. I do not make this mistake. Well, I'm afraid I missed that slice of gossip, though it sounds delicious. Knowing nothing else, it leads me to one conclusion. If such a hoard exists, someone in old Carthage had prior warning to give them the time to gather such treasures and safely evacuate them. An intriguing notion. And now we are back to a morbidly fun game. Proceed. At that banquet? Afraid I don't know. It could be... No, he's convalescing from an undiscovered venereal disease on Chussock. Real trailblazer, that one. Before you go, I did pass on a note to one of the guests. You'd have to ask Theopolis about the recipient. Roella Ramsby. She inquired about a particular vintage of wine, feigning expertise, but that woman wouldn't know Amontillado from sherry.
Oh joy, you've returned. That name does not mean anything to me, but I will endeavor to answer as best I can. On behalf of whom? Ah, yes, the drunken peacock. The man dresses like a walking dessert tray and talks like he's auditioning for a play no one asked for. What would you call him? Now that you mention it, I did. The recipient was a woman wearing a terracotta-colored mask. I serve drinks, not plot lines. I neither read it nor wept over it. Afraid so. Oh joy, you've returned. Congratulations. Forgive me, but I wasn't conducting a limb census between courses. She did linger rather tenderly on the frieze near the dining table. But then touching things that don't belong to them is a long-standing pastime of the wealthy. I can say that I did not much care for that behavior. I had polished that brass for hours. Now I shall have to spend hours more wiping away the fingerprints. After the cadavers are removed, of course.
Let's have it. Very good. Was he still crying? Don't keep me in suspense now. Good instinct. Keep pulling at threads. We'll get somewhere ugly soon enough. We'll see about that. Yes, that fits. Another off the list. Let's see here. If Ruella Ramsby was there, that means the other terracotta has to be... two masked assholes dead on the floor. Guess the toast hit harder than they bargained for. Calm yourself. We'll get there soon enough. Gotta build suspense. One of the remaining two guests is Lady Bianca Baghetti, a puffed-up hanger-on from a disgraced minor house. That means the last dead asshole is... Sub-Prefect Tors. No, I mean Tors is here. Good afternoon, Sub-Prefect.
There you are. Report. Don't look so slack-jawed. Who else were you expecting? I was delayed. A pity. Perhaps I might have averted this... unpleasantness. A grisly thought. One I've already entertained. They are no more my people than you are. I watch them as Fenring commands, though their antics hardly inspire admiration. What manifest? Carthag. There it is. Motive. The killer is eliminating the survivors of old Carthag one by one. Revenge. Concealment. Or the quiet removal of a dangerous truth that could unpick alliances from here to Kaitane. Indeed. And if you've a name for the hand that signed that order, now would be the time to share it. There it is. Motive, opportunity, and means. Our assassin isn't merely killing, they're closing the book on Carthag. Yes. And how do you suggest I handle this? What have you learned of their methods? Then having failed here, where is our ghost's next haunt? Then I must go. To catch a killer. Don't be a fool. One sight of you and our ghost, as you call it, will vanish. Better you leave them to me. Yes, well, I never much cared for Cheops.